Ladies and gentlemen, and dear IAF community, first of all, as president of the IAF, I have the very great pleasure to welcome you here today at our traditional IAF spring meetings in Paris. And I want to apologize once again for not being able to welcome you this morning. But it was for a good reason, because the French President François Hollande decided to have a long dialogue with our friend Thomas Pesquet, who is on board of the International Space Station. And we were this morning in the south of France, so we spoke more than 15 minutes with Thomas. And it was at the occasion of the grand opening of a college with many students who are, I am sure, probably the next members of the IAF. And so this is why I decided to go with the president to speak with Thomas. But now I am back, and I will be with you for the next coming days. So, as you know, at last year's ISC in Guadalajara, which, by the way, had a huge success since it has been record-breaking attendance with more than 5,000 people, I presented the IAF Global Innovation Agenda 2016-2019, which will ensure the sustainable development of our federation, while readying it to respond to the global challenges which are ahead of us. And this agenda is based on three key principles which are very important. The first one is to preserve our heritage and to build on existing strengths. We had a fantastic history of the IAF since its inception more than 50 years ago. And it's a superb heritage, and we have obviously to continue. But the second point is that we have to listen and to open up to the world, because the world is changing very quickly, and in particular the space world is changing very quickly, with a lot of newcomers, emerging countries, people coming from other communities, as a new space in the US, but in other places than in the US. There is a new space in Europe, there is a new space in India, there is a new space in Japan, there is a new space in China, there is a new space in Russia, everywhere in the world. And so we have to listen and to open up to the world. The third point is to prepare the future and connecting all space people, because it is clear that today the world is connected. And coming back to the reason of my absence this morning, Thomas Pesquet is a connected astronaut. He has more than 1 million of followers on Twitter. A lot of people like what he says on Facebook and so on. And we must be in this mood, because the world is changing, and IAF must be a part of this changing world. And this is why there are these three key principles: heritage, to listen to the world, and to prepare the future. And one of the most important elements in this agenda is to foster the principles of 3G diversity within the Federation and the space sector, and 3G standing for geography. It is important to have people coming from everywhere. Second point is generation. We need young people, because people with very shining heritage, a very shining career, it's pretty well. But having young people with a very shining future, I think that it is probably better, because it is a way to prepare for the future. And the third point, and you know that I am I want to insist on this point, is gender. Because we are in a world where there were a lot of male specialists and male members of IAF, but we need now female members, and I want to have more and more female members in the IAF, because I think that it is very important. And to that end, if you want to bring together all the space and organizations on an international level, we have created an IAF international platform for diversity and equality in astronautics. And we find the acronym, which is in short IDEA, which we have very successfully inaugurated with a 3G ID Diversity Luncheon at the IAC 2016 in Guadalajara. And we got more than 500, about something as 10% of the participants, 500 participants, and most prominent speakers. And it is clear that we have to continue this very important initiative and to offer our ID platform to a broader IAF community during our spring meeting this year. And we have declared today as IAF ID 3G Diversity Day with several key events focusing on different diversity aspects and using valuable networking opportunities to bring together a global IAF community, including IPC members, IAF committee members, and IAF member representatives. You have already seen two main events today. This morning, the ID breakfast with a focus on gender diversity, and the ID lunch with a focus on generation diversity. And I understand that both events were much appreciated by the community. I hope that it is not because I was not there, but I think that it has been a very, very outstanding success. And you guess that after having dealt this morning with gender, for the lunch with generation, tonight we will focus on geographical diversity. And it is now my great pleasure to hand over to my friend Marie Snitch, who is our IAF Vice President for Global Membership Development and Diversity Initiatives, and who is very, very active, and I want to thank her very much for that in the field of diversity. She will shortly introduce this evening event to you, and Marie, please, the floor is yours. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. You want to go this way? Yeah. Thank you so much, Jean-Yves. And this is the third opportunity that I've had to stand before most of you today. And this has really been a great day celebrating diversity. And Jean-Yves, I do want you to know that the thing that you missed this morning was the room saluting you for having made this such a strong part of your president's agenda for the coming 3-year period. And it's really terrific, and we are all very excited about it. What we said this morning, of course, is that everyone is here in this room because you already support diversity. Your organizations are very active in your commitment to diversity. You understand that it's not only the right thing to do, but it's good business to practice diversity. So tonight we have the great pleasure of having with us a very distinguished speaker. He represents the China Head Aerospace Group, which is a private company founded in 2007. It's headquartered in Beijing and has major operations in Asia and in cities in Europe, including, I think, here, or certainly in France, and in Italy and the Netherlands. Mr. Jason Chow is the founder, CEO, and chairman of the China Head Aerospace Group. I would like to welcome him to the podium now, and he will be joined by Mr. Wang, I believe, who is going to, who's going to assist with translation. If you would, please. Thank you. Thank you.
Mary, 谢谢。
Thanks, Mary.
Yes.
OK， 尊敬的 Mary 主席，尊敬的克里斯汀秘书长，各位大家晚上好。
Dear President Jean-Yves de Gaulle and Director Christian Findinger, ladies and gentlemen, good evening.
受这个秘书长的委托，让我来谈谈不同国家之间的航天合作的这种差异性，我很愿意来讲这个话题。
It's my pleasure to talk about diversity.
我先做一下我自我介绍，我是合同公司的这个 CEO， 也是这公司的创始人。我的中文名字叫周大创。
I am the founder and the chairman of the aerospace. My Chinese name is called Zhou Dachuang.
我代表我们的公司，欢迎各位参加今天晚上的这个活动。
On behalf of our company, we welcome everyone to attend today's reception.
全世界不同地域、不同文化、不同背景的人们，都在探索我们共同的一个太空。
In the world with different culture, places, and background, we are all working together to explore space.
这种差异性和以技术为推动的全球航天合作，是原来这种航天合作的一个主要的特征。
And this is going to drive the development of space, and also this is one of character of space industry.
随着这个全球合作的这种深入，这种增强合作和以广阔的商业应用需求为推动的新航天才是未来的主题和生力军。
With global cooperation in space, the momentum and development in new space is another direction to go.
我们应该坚持用一种超越经济因素、超越竞争的这种视角，兼容并蓄的，与不同地域的航天企业开展合作，强调协调、融入和共生。
I believe we should work together beyond the economic factors, beyond competition, and all towards the success of the new space development.
我们今天在座的各位，大家应该携起手来，共同的建设一所新航天跟传统行业之间的这种桥，推动和拉动新产业的落地、生根和发芽。
And we all work together to build up a bridge between traditional space and new space, and continue to work on.
未来的商业航天，它需要的是一片春意盎然的森林，而不是几棵古老的大树。
For the following development of new space, I believe we need a forest instead of a couple of trees.
合德公司就是这样一家创新型的、服务型的这个宇航企业。我们努力的使这种理念贯穿到我们的未来的天行者星座计划当中。
HAL Aerospace is such a company which is innovation oriented and service oriented, and we work together to our goal.
我们就是要致力于为传统行业类似于电力、保险、林业监测，提供一揽子的全产业链的解决方案。
With our constellation under development, we are targeting to provide service into different areas such as forestry, maritime, and IoT.
今年9月份，我们拟将在中国发射我们的第一颗海事卫星，叫合德1号。
Our first satellite of the constellation will be launched in September this year, which is called HAT-1.
我们希望通过这样的理念和各种透明的合作方式，吸收和融合商业航天里的新鲜血液，共同来促进未来商业航天的这种发展。
We hope we can absorb energy from new space movement and continue to work together with different partners in different ways.
合资公司愿意为这样的事情来做出我们自己的贡献。
We are willing to contribute to such cooperation.
最后，谢谢大家参加今天的活动，也希望大家有时间参观我们的合资公司。
Thank you for attending, and hopefully you are going to have visit our company later on.
谢谢大家
Thanks.
kind of the message of our sponsor of this evening. And now we would like to invite Mr. Yu to come to stage here. Dr. Yu is the Deputy Director of the Scientific and Technological Steering Committee of China Aerospace Science and Technology Corporation. He is also Vice President of the IAF, and he's Vice Chief Designer of the China Lunar Exploration Program. And we have, in terms of geographical diversity, we have tried to create something new. We've tried to give benefit to the community by providing an insight into business etiquette in different areas of the world. And as we are going to be in China very soon with our Global Space Exploration Conference in June this year, we have asked our colleagues from China to give us an insight into international business etiquette with a focus on China. And I would like to ask Dr. Yu to come up on stage and give us his presentation. Thank you.
Okay.
Distinguished President John Yu Legal, Secretary Christine, and Mary Slicher. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. First, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the Secretariat to arrange the event of IAF International Business Etiquette focus on China. Secondly, I'm very honored to be invited as the keynote speaker to share with you my thoughts and insight on international space cooperation. Third, I fully support presentation legal strategy of enhancing the diversity of IAF from different aspects. And I think this strategy will have profound impact on the development of IAF. I think relating the different stage of space development of different countries and diversified culture will be beneficial for an effective and fruitful international cooperation. So the theme of my speech today is enhancing understanding and communications to deepen and further cooperation with China. So for a fruitful international space cooperation with China, I have following suggestions. One is to recognize the achievements of China's space industry. Second is to realize the key areas for future cooperation of China's space industry. The third is know policies and measures of international cooperation of China's space industry. The fourth is to understand the characteristics of Chinese culture. The final is carry out effective cooperation based on communication and understanding. When we carry out international space cooperation, it is necessary for us to know the space achievements of a country. This knowledge will help us to grasp the overall development of a country, to realize the advantages and disadvantages of your partner, and to have us supplementary cooperation. The Chinese government regards the space industry as an important part of the nation's overall development strategies and adheres to the principle of exploration and utilization of outer space for peaceful purpose. Since the Chinese space industry established in 1956, China has made great achievements in this sphere for 60 years. About space transportation system. From 2011 to November 2016, the non-March carry locate series completed 86 launch missions, sending over 100 spacecraft into target orbit with a success rate of 97.67%, indication of increasing effectiveness and high-density launch capability of carrier locates. About man-made satellites, the Earth observation satellites, the function of the Fengyun, Haiyang, Zhiyuan, Gaofen, Yaogan, and the Tianhui satellite series, and constellation of small satellites for environment and disaster monitoring and forecasting has been improved. About communications and broadcasting satellites, China has comprehensively advanced the construction of a fixed, mobile, and data relay satellite system. About Beidou navigation satellite system, Beidou 2 has been completed with the networking of 14 Beidou navigation satellites, officially offering position, velocity measurement, timing, wide area difference, and short message communication service to customers in the Asia-Pacific region. About new technological test satellites, China has launched the Shijian 9 satellite series for technological experiments, providing an important way to test new technology. About manned space flights, in June 2012 and June 2013, the Shenzhou 9 and 10 manned spacecraft were launched to dock with the target spacecraft Tiangong 1. They used manual and automatic operation respectively, symbolizing breakthroughs for China in spacecraft radio war and docking technology, and for success in the first operation of a manned space transportation system. In September and October 2016, the Tiangong 2 Space Laboratory and Shenzhou 11 manned spacecraft were launched and formed a assembly that operated steadily, with the mission of carry out science and technology experiments in space, indicating that China had mastered technologies concerning astronauts' mid-term stay in orbit and long-term ground mission support. In December 2012, Chang'e 2 lunar probe made a successful observation trip over asteroid Tutatis. In December 2013, the Chang'e 3 realized the first soft landing on the surface of an extraterrestrial body by the Chinese spacecraft and completed patrol and exploration on the surface of the moon. In November 2014, China achieved the success in the entry and return flight test of the surface lunar exploration engineering, indicating that China has mastered the key technology of space entry and return flight in a speed close to second cosmic velocity. About international cooperation. Since 2011, China has signed 43 space cooperation agreements or memoranda of understanding with 29 countries, space agencies, and international organizations. It has taken part in relevant activities sponsored by the United Nations and other relevant international organizations, and supported international commercial cooperation in space. About commercial activities, China encourages and supports Chinese enterprises. Just now, Mr. Zhou Dachuan, the CEO of Hertz Aerospace Group, have said some cooperation with your ESA and some enterprise to participate in international commercial activities in the space field. It has exported satellites and made in orbit delivery of Nigeria's communication satellites, Venezuela remote sensing satellites, Bolivia communication satellites, and so on. In addition, it provides commercial launch service for Turkey's Earth observation satellite, and when launching its own satellites, took on small satellites for Argentina, Poland, and etc. other countries. To realize the key technology, the key areas for future cooperation of China space industry. I think to know the key areas for future cooperation of China's industry will help you to carry out cooperation with China with a clear goal, more focused direction, and more obvious effect. In the next 5 years, China wishes to have international cooperation in the fields of construction of the Belt and Road Initiative Space Information Corridor, the Moon, Mars, and other deep space exploration program, space laboratory and the space station in China's manned spaceflight program, and the technical cooperation, satellite applications, and other areas. Construction of the Belt and Road Initiative Space Information Corridor, including Earth observation, communication and broadcasting, navigation and positioning, and other type of satellite-related development. Construction of the Breakers remote sensing satellite constellation. Construction of the EPSCO Joint Smart Multi-Mission Satellite Constellation Program, and University Small Satellite Project Development. The Moon, Mars, and other deep space exploration program, and technical cooperation. Inclusion of space laboratory and the space station China's manned spaceflight program. Research and development of a space science satellite, a remote sensing satellite, payload, etc. Construction of ground infrastructure such as data receiving stations, communications gateway station. Satellite applications include Earth observation, communications and broadcasting, navigation and positioning, exploration and research on space science, launching and carrying service, space TDC support, space debris monitoring, early warning, mitigation and protection, space weather cooperation, import and export of and technical cooperation in the field of whole satellites, subsystem, spare parts and electronic components of satellites, and launch vehicle, ground facility and equipment, and related items. Research on space law, policy and standards, personnel exchanges and training in the space field. I think the third is to know the policy and the misuse of international cooperation of China's space industry. I think to know the policies and the misuse of China's space international cooperation will help you to understand the social environment and conduct practical cooperation within the frame of the macro policy supported by the government. The Chinese government has adopted the following fundamental policy with regard to international space exchange and cooperation: supporting activities regarding the peaceful use of outer space within the framework of the United Nations, supporting all intergovernmental and non-governmental space organizations' activities that promote development of the space industry, strengthening bilateral and multilateral cooperation, which is based on common goals and serves the Belt and Road Initiative, supporting the Asia-Pacific Space Cooperation Organization to play an important role in regional space cooperation and attach importance to space cooperation under the BRICS cooperation mechanism and within the framework of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Encouraging and endorsing the efforts of domestic scientific research institutes, industrial enterprises, institutions of higher learning and social organizations to develop international space exchange and cooperation in diverse forms and at various levels under the guidance relevant state policies, law, and regulations. The fourth is to understand the characteristics of China culture. I think any form of cooperation will start from people to people, contact and exchange. So to understand the difference of social system, way of thinking, social value, mode of expression, and life experience, and to formulate the reasonable and responsible misuse to change the confrontation and the contradiction into recognition and harmony will be very important for successful cooperation. In China, kindness, righteousness, propriety, wisdom, and trust. These 5 words show the great tradition of Chinese culture. The kindness means people-oriented. Righteousness means fairness and justice. Prosperity means to be respectful each other. Wisdom means to worship to knowledge. Trust means to be responsible and honest. This value have spread for thousands of years and represented the good quality of Chinese nation. The fifth is to carry out effective cooperation based on communication and understanding each other. I think when carrying out space cooperation with China, you should strengthen communications and exchanges with Chinese space organizations to know the way of Chinese people doing things and implement contract or promise with honesty and abide by the local law. China is determined to quicken the pace of developing its space industry and actively carry out international space exchanges and cooperation, so that achievements in space activities will serve and improve the well-being of mankind in a wide scope, at a deeper level, and with higher standard. China will promote the lofty cause of peace and development together with other countries. Finally, I would like to thank China Held Aerospace Company to sponsor this event. China Held Aerospace Company has done a lot of work to promote the cooperation between China and European countries in product, technology, and joint R&D over the years. They have made corresponding contributions to the development of China's international space cooperation. Finally, I welcome you to Beijing in this journey to participate in the GLEX 2017. I look forward to meet you in Beijing. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Yu, for this deep insight into the China space program, but also into the way on how you best could cooperate with China. Thank you very much. I would just like to end with welcoming also two more very important people from China joining us today. Mr. Wang, who is the Secretary General of the Chinese Society of Astronautics and who will be one of our hosts at the GLEX conference in Beijing this June. And my dear friend, Mr. Yang, who has been the former Secretary General of the Chinese Society of Astronautics, who was responsible for the so successful IEC in 2013. Thank you very much. That's all for the official part now. Please enjoy the networking and have some nice drinks. Thank you.